Bonjour. As you can tell, I'm on a very exquisite date as of now, and you can tell by my pinky position and the richness of my drink, per se. No, actually, I'm in my corner, my usual corner. What's going on, YouTube family? This is your guy, Sealz the Man. Thank you for coming back and joining me for another nighttime edition episode as we understand the mind of good men, decent men. And on tonight, we're going to talk about 10 things that men notice instantly when it comes to that good old grand first date. Even though these are 10, I will not hold you long. Just make sure you stay throughout the whole entire video to learn something interesting about the interested man. As I open the door to this date dialogue, the first thing I will have to tell y'all about us interested men when it comes to the first date is that we pay attention to your energy as soon as you walk in the door. Energy is the language without words. Energy sometimes speaks louder than words, and you must pay attention to it just as much as what somebody says to you. Promise you will do me that favor from here on out. Energy does not lie, okay? So when it comes to energy, her energy entails her confidence, whether she's shy, her posture, her nervousness if she's nervous, anxiety. Because when he is able to read your energy, he is able to know what to do next, what move to make next, and how to move accordingly. But energy sets the table. Now let's go on to the second thing that men pick up instantly when it comes to that first date is another wordless but loud language, and that is your eye contact and your warmth. When it comes to eye contact, a man will find a connection or disconnect within the first 10 seconds. Just to remind you, these are introductory things, the first things that men instantly pick up on without you saying an absolute word, a syllable. But these wordless things are just as loud. The reason why eye contact is so important is because it shows your intent. It shows your seriousness. It shows your desire. It shows your want to be there or not. And it shows if you are locked in the conversation, locked into him, locked into each other's presence. That is why when you were growing up and you got in trouble with your parents, and as your mom was talking to you, lecturing you, whooping you with her words, what did she always say? Look at me when I'm talking to you. There's a reason why she's saying that, because she knows if you are looking at her when she's talking to you, it gives the impression that you are taking what she's saying in, that you are paying attention, that you are in the now, right? The same applies to this date. Because he is initiating this date, because he is leading this date, he wants to make sure that you're there with him, because you could be physically there, but it doesn't mean you're there. You get my drift? Eye contact is the windows to the soul, but it's also the windows to intent. So he's looking for that. The next thing that men notice instantly on that first date, now we're going to involve some words and some dialogue, some talking. And that is how much you talk versus how many questions you ask. Now you may ask, what's the difference? There is a big difference, a vast difference, because anybody can talk, anybody can run their mouth, anybody can let the words flow, but are you asking questions? Are you trying to figure out who he is? Are you trying to get to know him as well as much as he's trying to get to know you? Because you may talk, but you might be majorly talking about yourself, and now you're boring that man to death. If you're just talking about yourself and just talking, but not asking those questions, then in that man's mind, he's thinking that you're just talking about you because you're selfish. You're not really trying to get to know him. You're making it all about yourself, and that's never a good feeling. It's never a good sign, and it doesn't show purpose for this occasion that you two are participating in this date, right? A date is supposed to go two ways. I'm supposed to figure you out. I'm supposed to get to know you. You're supposed to try to get to know me. But if it is one-sided, then it is not a date. It is an interview. That man is not there for an interview. So another thing that man is going to take note on is how much you talk versus how many questions you ask, aka if you're trying to get to know him, and the amount of effort that you're putting into that dialogue in getting to know him. Now, the next thing that I have to bring up that a man will take note of is how you treat the staff. This goes for life in general. I believe that you should treat a CEO with the same respect as you treat a homeless man in the streets. Just because that person may be able to do more for you than the other does not mean you treat them any less. And the same applies to how you treat the staff at these restaurants or wherever you're having your date. And one thing for me is that I have a concern for those who take care of my food, because I am a foodie. And with being a foodie, I also know that food gives me life, but it can also take my life. So I'm not trying to play around with that. And I'm not trying to play around with anyone who's preparing something for me with that much power over my life. So when I'm out in a restaurant or I'm out on a date, I try my best to respect that waiter or the waitress, the cook, whoever on that staff who's preparing my food, because I know food has that much power. I had one experience in my life where I was on a date and the woman was a very particular woman. She wanted things to a certain standard and a certain bar and certain metrics, and I get that. If you're like that, you like that. Cool. So her plate came out, right? I think it was, it was salmon or steak or something. And she was very knowledgeable about food temperatures and stuff like that because it was in her industry. And when the meat came out to her, she was like, this meat is not hot enough. She didn't say it like that, but I'm just putting on dramatic effect on it. But she basically said the meat wasn't hot enough. She gave it back to the waitress. So later on, the waitress came back with the meat, right? And it was fine to her standards. But then she also asked, can I have boiling water for my utensils? So I'm sitting there, man. Listen. I'm sitting there like just nervous out of my mind because my food ain't come yet. So I'm thinking like, man, these people about to hog splatter all over my joint. I'm talking about all over my plate. You got your plate. You good. You can do whatever you want. But me? Come on. But it wasn't the fact that she was asking for these things. It was the way she was saying it. She was saying it in a way that made her seem like she was better than a woman. She wasn't looking at her. She wasn't giving eye contact to the waitress, and it was just making it a very awkward situation. So as our parents taught us, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. And most men do not like to start things, especially in public. Men will rather let things just slide like this when they're with their significant other because a lot of us don't want any problems. You know what I'm saying? So how you treat the people that takes care of you, taking care of your food, is a very noticeable thing in the eyes of that man. All right, so now let's go on to the next thing that men notice instantly when it comes to that first date. And I will start off by saying that we live in the year 2025 where phones dominate, computers dominate, devices and technology dominates. But one thing that should never dominate your date is the cellular device, aka your phone. Put that phone down. Put it away. If you are not in danger, if you are not looking for an escape, an exit strategy, if the man is doing everything that you're looking for and you're vibing with him, put that phone away. It is just not worth sacrificing his attention and any type of chemistry that y'all are building in that moment to check an inbox, to check your DMs on Instagram, to check to see who posted what and what the algorithm got to show you. None of it is worth it because you could do those things later. Right now, you are being intentional on an intentional date with an intentional man. So let's intend on being there with him. And that is one thing we pick up instantly. How much you're on your phone. How much that phone got to whip on you. Are you that addicted to your phone? That says a lot to this man. Not only that you're being rude and disrespectful in this moment, but it shows you if you have any vices, and that main vice being your phone. Are you addicted to things? Do you have no discipline? Do you have no self-control? Do you set priorities? Because if he is making you a priority in this moment, the best thing to do is to receive that and reciprocate it. But if you are on your phone and you're not paying attention to him, and you're doing everything else but being present in that moment with him, then you are wasting his time. And who has time to waste these days? Shoot, I wish there was a store that I could buy time, because 24 hours is not enough. But it definitely sucks when me as a man is taking time out to take you on a date, spending this crazy amount of money, because you know inflation is crazy these days, taking you somewhere nice, being thoughtful and thinking what would be your preference, what would you like. Y'all don't know how stressful that is. Oh my gosh. Doing all these things for you to just be on your phone. But that is something he notices. Now, another sneaky thing that a lot of men notice, and especially the men who've been on a lot of dates and seen a lot of different vibes, a lot of different type of attitudes and personalities, that type of man will be able to sense if you are putting on a front, if you are putting on that first date act. Y'all know what I'm talking about? That first date act where everything is just perfect with you, everything's going well for you, you got this and you're doing that and you're looking for this, but never describing the important things about you. A man who is truly interested in you and intentional about you on that intentional first date is going to notice your authenticity over your performance. If he feels like you are putting on a front, an act, a performance, and he's going to roll with that. Be yourself through and throughout, because the person that accepts you for who you are is going to be a better fit for you than the person that your fake self attracts. Now this thing that men notice on the first date, I'm this guy. I can relate exactly to this because I am a silly guy. I love laughing. I love humor. And what a lot of men are going to notice or look for is your sense of humor. Do you have any compatibility with his sense of humor? So this is the thing, right? My sense of humor will be different from another guy's sense of humor. So what makes me laugh might not make him laugh, and what makes him laugh might not make me laugh. But what he's looking for in this moment is to see if you have any compatibility. You have any sense of humor compatibility with his. One of the worst things that can happen on a first date is a man saying a dark humor joke and that woman being totally freaked out. Not everybody can take dark humor. So if he understands that that woman is not about that, if she's not into the things that makes him laugh, his type of sense of humor, then it's most likely not going to work. And that is okay. That is why this first date is so important, because y'all trying to figure out each other. But it is better when you have someone who is compatible with you, especially in sense of humor. I will also say in being the person that I am is that laughter opens doors. Laughter is a great icebreaker. If you want to make someone less uncomfortable, bring some humor into the situation, because laughter loosens people up. But one thing about laughter is that it comes with different levels, because you could say something and make somebody laugh, but now he's thinking, is she laughing with me or is she laughing at me? It all ties in with each other. You feel me? Now, the next thing that men totally notice, and instantly when it comes to that first date and that first meeting with you, is your personal grooming and the amount of effort that you put into it. Now, don't get me wrong. He is not looking for perfection. What he's looking for is intentional self-care. It shows that you put effort into yourself. It shows that you put effort into your cleanliness and how you dress, from the small details to the big details. Your coordination, how you present yourself. Those things do not beckon perfection. It shows self-intent and seriousness about oneself. Because let me tell you something, there is nothing like a woman who takes care of herself. And it's evident. She doesn't have to tell me that she takes care of herself. I see it. I smell it. Every time I see her, she's on point. She never leaves the house looking crazy. In my mind, I'm thinking like, man, she was raised well. She's serious about her identity and what she presents. That's admirable. And that man will give you many points for that. How you take care of yourself today and how you take care of yourself now in this date that we have gives me a sense of how you will take care of yourself in the future. And if I can see myself with a future with you, that is important. Health is currency. And if you are presenting yourself as unhealthy in a lot of men's eyes, that may signal that you're broke. Not financially, but health-wise. And being healthy broke is the worst type of broke. Now, the next thing that he notices, as you can tell by the decrease in volume of my voice, is that he will notice your vocal tone and volume. Calm or chaotic, soothing or performative, it all lands. He's going to pay attention and take note of the way you carry yourself in dialogue, how you talk to him, your style of communication. Do you use big words? Do you use a lot of his type of lingo? Are you very proper? Are you loose with it? Are you loud, or do you talk reserved? This also leads to his assumption of your personality type, because if you're an introvert, most likely you're talking at a calm, lower tone. If you're an extrovert, you're most likely talking a little bit louder, a little more action in it, body movement. And if that man prefers a certain type, then this is a big clue for him. And the last quick thing I'm gonna bring up that men notice instantly on the first date is your curiosity about him versus the amount of times you talk about your past, aka your exes. Because this is a telltale sign of emotional availability. There's plenty of people out there who go on dates just to catch a rebound, or they go on dates to find another replacement to the person they just broke up with. Now, you know me, I will not recommend you to do that after a breakup. You need time to heal, to recover, to evaluate all those good things, but a lot of people do this. But if you are the type of woman who is not over her ex, who is just going on dates to get a rebound, or to do it for payback, or to make it look like you moved on to others, then you will most likely talk about your exes to this new guy who cares nothing about your exes. This is a major turn off and a major red flag, because if that man is intentional about you and wants you and only you, he does not want to hear about you clamoring over your past and your exes. Now, there's a difference between getting information about you and your exes, because now he can see what type of relationship partner you are, or to see what you went through or been through before him. That is different from talking and expounding on how much you hate your ex, or even how much you miss your ex, what he should have done differently, that he used to take you out to restaurants like this, That man does not care about that. And more than that, he doesn't want to hear about that from you, because it shows it, or it makes it seem that you are not over your ex. And if it seems that you're not over your ex, then that will send a siren off in his head that you're not ready for him. You're not emotionally available. And I know me, that would scare me off, because if I want you and you're not available based on this ex that you keep constantly talk about in our date, our first date, then that tells me I will not be able to get you or even have a chance to be in a relationship with you. So men who want you or are intentional about you, pay attention to what you talk about, especially when it comes to your exes and your past, and even how you talk about your ex. For an example, if you say something like, oh, he did me bad, and all men are dogs, all men are bad because of him, then in that man's mind, he's thinking, what makes me any different because I'm a man? If you automatically think that all men are bad, I have no chance. So you pretty much just disqualified him without even him showing you the decent and good man that he is and what he wants to be to you. So thank you for joining me on this evening as we talk about understanding the mind of good men, decent men, intentional men taking you out on dates, and the first thing that they notice on the first date. Hope you enjoyed my video. I will see you on my next one. Peace and blessings. Goodbye.